Losing fat is easier than building muscle. You'll lose around 1 to 2 pounds a week when starting out quite comfortably. When it comes to building muscle, you'll build 1 to 2 pounds a month within your first year, and that goes down over time if you're following a well-designed and well-structured resistance training program. So you want to hold on to as much muscle as possible. And not many people talk about the fact that having muscle, maintaining muscle and building muscle will actually help you burn more calories at rest and while you're working out. So it'll help you keep your fat off. By the end of this video, you'll know how to maintain as much muscle as possible while losing fat. I'm sure that you know to lose fat, you need to create a calorie deficit. That's where you're burning more than you're consuming. The size of this deficit is kind of misunderstood. What a lot of people will do is create a large calorie deficit. While you'll probably lose weight faster, you might even lose a bit more fat, you risk losing muscle. So this is why you need to create a calorie deficit which is sustainable in the long term, and that's also going to protect your muscle mass because you need the energy for your workouts. So what I suggest doing is creating a calorie deficit, a max calorie deficit of 20 to 25%, because research has shown that you don't want to be losing more than 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week if you want most of your weight coming from fat, which I'm sure you do, or you wouldn't be watching this video. That's around 400 to 600 calories less per day. When you start out losing fat, you can do one of three things: either eat less, move more, or some combination between the both. This really does depend on exactly where you're at right now. Most people want to avoid eating less if they can, and I actually recommend this to most people because that avoids you seeing any dips in energy that you might see later on the process that you don't have to start with. If you're not currently moving, you're not doing daily walks, you're not getting your steps in, I actually suggest adding 10,000 steps to where you're currently at. If you're doing 2,000 steps, 3,000 steps, or even less, then yeah, add 10,000 steps. That will create a calorie deficit of around 400 to 600, and that should be sufficient to definitely start losing fat. What I want you to do, obviously, is to adjust this as time goes on and stick to low intensity forms of cardio when you're introducing cardio. So that's why I say walk, and that's why I say get the steps in. A lot of people will go overboard with the cardio and it'll impact their recovery. So what you can do is you can do treadmill walks after workout, 10 to 20 minute treadmill walks. You can do some light rowing on a separate day or after workout. You can do a Stairmaster after workout on a separate day. And that's between 10 and 20 minutes each time. And low impact cardio is going to obviously burn the calories, but it's also going to, well, it's not going to impair recovery in any way. So it allows you to give your resistance training sessions your all. And as always, it's important that you get in enough protein. That looks like 1 gram per pound of goal body weight, or 1 gram per centimeter of height if you've got a lot of fat to lose, which you may have if you're watching this video. If you've got less fat to lose, you can just do 0.8 grams times by your current body weight in pounds. If you haven't watched my last video on the 2-phase diet to lose your belly fat, watch that. It's going to be really helpful in helping you set up your diet. When it comes to resistance training, I recommend doing 3 to 4 sessions per week. The quality does matter, so you want to make sure you're taking every working set, that's every set that's not a warm-up set, 2 to 3 reps away from failure. You don't want to be going to complete failure and messing up your recovery and putting yourself at risk of an injury, but 2 to 3 reps, that's finishing a set with 2 to 3 reps left, and you want to be resting between 2 to 3 minutes between exercises. You also want to be doing 10 to 20 working sets per major muscle group. That's like chest, your back and your legs. Those are your major muscle groups, and obviously your shoulders get worked when you do your chest, but 10 to 20 per major muscle group, and then that's the right amount of volume you will need to grow. Obviously within that range it looks different for everyone, but start on the lower end and slowly add if you're not seeing any progress. That's what I suggest for most people. You want the minimum dose that's going to give you the maximum results every single time. You want to keep progressing those workouts. That's why it's important not to eat too little. So you have the energy to push that bit further in terms of get one more rep out, get a few more reps out, or increase the weight, or do a combination of both of those. That progressive overload is what's going to help you continue to at least maintain muscle, and in some cases build muscle while you're losing fat. And that's key. That's why, like I said, we don't want to go crazy with the diet. You end up with low energy, you're not able to push your workouts, you're not able to progress, and you just lose muscle. It's important to remember, just because you're in a diet phase, it doesn't mean you're just going to lose strength. So don't go in there expecting that. Many of my clients, including myself, we actually make progress in terms of strength. It might be a bit slower, but we still do that in a diet phase. So just remember that and go with that mind frame that you can at least maintain strength, at least in the initial phases, until you get, if you end up going for that super lean look, then that's a different story. But to actually lose fat, you can still maintain your strength and see some progress. That's all I really wanted to cover for this video. I just want you to remember it's important to maintain muscle. Muscle's hard to build, and the more muscle you have, the easier it is going to be to keep that fat off in the long term. You're going to look better. You're not only going to look better, it's just going to be easier in terms of the amount of calories you burn at rest and when you work out. So just remember that and do your best to maintain your muscle, and in some cases build your muscle while losing fat. Anyway, if you want to build muscle and lose fat and you're a man, head on over to my Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group just with a lot of resources dedicated to help you build muscle and lose fat, and it's completely free. If you haven't clicked that like button, click that like button now. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification to be alerted as soon as I post a future video. Until the next video, keep pushing your limits.